all sweetness and light, but backstage things happen. There are arguments, are there not, huh?
There were those, yes. I didn't work for the show after I did my one segment.
Why not?
I felt that they had mucked it up badly, and it took, I think, 6 or 7 years before Gene Roddenberry and I even spoke to each other again after the show. The thing that always troubled me about the series was that there was always the feeling that they were presenting great moral messages, and to me they were always very lightweight. And anytime you tried to really deal with what Faulkner called the human heart in conflict with itself, either the network or the production, people said, no, our characters wouldn't act that way. In other words, they always had to be heroes.
It's amazing how they know how characters would act. They know how hair should look, how ties should be tied, how teeth should be fixed. They know all those things in the offices. It's amazing.
The thing that really amazes me is what you call the Star Trek phenomena. I did a convention here in town just a week or so ago, and 30,000 people were there. Riots. Somebody hit Shatner with a pie. Pie kill. Yeah, somebody hired pie kill. Did you know about that?
Yes, I walked out on stage shortly after it happened.
Al, what goes on at these things? What do you do? Do you show the films or?
Certainly, that's just part of it. The actors, these fellows all here, Harlan, come out and speak. Come out and do their shtick, whatever it is. There are several other aspects to the convention. There's a large dealer's room. All sorts of things are sold. This medallion, tribbles. Like
yeah,
those.
What are these? Tell what these are. I don't remember.
Hairballs.
Yes.
Fuzzballs. They're very similar, very akin to the pet rocks that are floating around now. There's a big fad. But tribbles were the creation of one episode of Star Trek.
And David Gerald, who created it.
David Gerald, obviously. The man who wrote
Tribbles actually gave birth to the pet rocks. There are several tribbles in existence that have been known to give birth to a... help me out, will you please?
Come on. You got yourself...
Pet rock is a tribble with hardening of the arteries.
Thank you.
We didn't understand that.
Now, when you fellas come out at the convention, do you make a talk or do you have set routines? Like, what do you do?
Come out, we make a talk, and then we go into a question and answer thing. That seems to be what they want to do. They want to talk to you. They want to communicate and ask you questions about yourself, about the show, experiences on show, that sort of thing.
What do you think would happen if it came back on prime time?
I think it would do very nicely indeed.
You look at what is it, Space 1999, that's in syndication? They're going for a second year now.
And it's a Lux, and it's doing well enough. Clearly, the public is ready for science fiction. They want something good. Well, I'm sorry. What am I going to do? Am I going to lie to you? You bring me on, you know I'll tell you the truth.
I know you'll tell me the truth, but is it highly possible, in the truth as you perceive it, sir, that television is simply not equipped to deal with what you want to put on a 19-inch diagonal tube?
No, the truth of the matter is that television is the best medium that has ever been devised, including the print medium, for dealing with fantasy. The problem lies in the fact that the moguls, none of whom are creators, they're all, failed agents or failed CPAs or failed, whatever they are.
Ex-booth announcers,
massage parlor guys. Who the hell knows what they do for a living when they're not, messing our lives up? They don't understand.
What you used to do? WILX-TV Lansing.
Right.
Hey, great. Couldn't do it. Now I'm in here planning your life for you. Yeah.
They see machinery. They see machinery, and they think that's what science fiction is. And it isn't. It's people. And it's the effect of the future on people. They cannot get it through their heads. This year, all three of the major networks are looking, in quotes, for a science fiction project. And when one is offered to them, they say, well, no, we don't understand that. I don't explain it to you. And I had a meeting.
If you have to do that, you're lost.
Oh, yeah, the instant you explain it, yeah, right. It's
right
like telling them the plot of Moby Dick. Well, it's a nut chasing a big fish, right? Listen, I'm about to talk myself out of a job. The movie, the Star Trek movie, right? There have been 967 writers called in on this project. Last word, there was no script. They got a director, they got a start date, no script. I think they're going to stand there and whistle. Who knows? Roddenberry called me in. He says, he was really desperate to call me in. And he said, let's try.
Like you said, you're about to blow a job, huh? Right?
Look, no, Gene knows what I'm going to say. Gene's cool. We came in and we thought up an idea. Paramount keeps saying to them, no matter what plot they offer them, it's not big enough. It's not big enough, right?
That's what he was saying.
Right, except in one of them we destroyed the universe. We thought that was big enough. No, it wasn't big enough. So...
It's like on the news, world ends, details at 10.
Right, how about if we go into space and find Jim Audrey and find out he's God, right? So, anyhow, I have a meeting with a guy from Paramount, the guy who's the liaison. He's the interface between the great powers on the
You know why I held you till after 1:30? You know, a few people go to bed, like Jim Aubrey might be gone now. You know, I don't want you to lose it all when you're out here.
Listen, I must have a suicide complex. I wouldn't be in Hollywood to begin with. We come in for we get a story. It's a super duper story. Gene and I work it out, and it's all solid. So in comes this tum-tum from the head office, and he's going to listen to it. We explain the whole thing to him. It's complex, but it's fascinating. It goes back to the dawn of time and a parallel species that grew up with humankind and so on and so on, and the whole thing. When you get all done, he sits there and goes, He says, well, you know, I was reading Von Daniken, and, you know, the Mayan calendar is the same as our calendar. Why don't you put in some Mayans? We said, Mayans? He says, yeah, why don't you put in the Mayans? That's terrific. And Gene and I kind of look at each other like, we tried to explain to him there were no Mayans at the dawn of time. He didn't understand that. So he said, well, I'll tell it to Stummy, whatever his name was up in the tower, and that was that. So
and we'll get back to you.
Yeah, and they never do.
Yeah. Oh, no. Listen, we're going to have to fire you. Oh, yeah? When am I through? Well, we'll get back to you.
It's like the Red Queen's race. You got to run as fast as you can to stay in the same place.
What was your first convention like? Was it a smash?
Certainly.
The very first one?
Yes, surprisingly so. We anticipated probably 400 or 500 people would show up. Almost 3,000 showed up. Statler Hilton Hotel in 71. I'm sorry, 72, January 9th.
And how many of these do you run a year?
Well, in the past I was only running one, but in the last few months I've put on 3 conventions. One in August in Philadelphia, one over January 1st weekend in Washington, D.C., where incidentally I had a transporter mechanism brought in. It's the first time it's ever been shown at a Star Trek convention. It worked very similar to the transporter effect shown on television. It came out of Chicago Creative Presentations. It's
what does it do?
It makes people appear.
It's magic.
Yeah, and they materialize.
Right. You mean
lights
they
and mirrors.
materialize on stage.
Oh, I see.
Literally materialize on stage.
I mean, people don't disintegrate and go across the room and...
Well, it looks like it.
It looks suspiciously like it.
If they had the sparkles and everything else there, it would look like it. Absolutely.
Can I put a couple of network heads in that thing? Make it
we didn't lose anybody.
There's going to be another convention. Now, that's, what, 3 in a row?
3 in a row.
Commodore
in New York.
Hotel.
Do you fellas who were in the series, do you like going to these conventions, truthfully? Or sometimes you say to yourself, I just don't want to go to another convention.
I feel that way.
It's getting that way.
I know you do.
Yeah.
I know you do. I have the feeling that you feel that way.
I haven't gone to too many of them, and I'm getting a little tired of it.
I got a
I'm
quote for
lazy
you.
anyhow, so...
Hold the quote for a couple of minutes. I got these little announcements. Last break we have, so we'll get them out of the way, and we'll be right back and hear a quote from Harlan Ellis.
I want equal time.
Wait till tonight.
Yeah, let's not go into that.
No, I shouldn't. I would never mention that.
No, of course not. Of course not.
No.
You know, why louse up a recip, you know what I mean?
No, I'm cool.
Okay, now here's the quote.
All right, this is a quote from a
Incidentally, is the movie script, you have no script, you said. That's not progressed one iota
As far as I know, as of yesterday afternoon, there was no script. Gene was, I understand, working with other writers. Who they may be, God only knows. Whether there'll be a script or not, I don't know.
But you're off the movie.
As far as they haven't gotten back to me.
But Tom, got a note from Gene Roddenberry, which I think is interesting. He said, we have a starting date, July 15th, but we don't have a script. But he said, what the hell? He said, there are a lot of people that have scripts that don't have a starting date.
Beautiful. Did he mention a year?
No, he didn't mention
a year.
Well, we'll get back to you.
Okay. Quote.
Okay, this is from a book review of a paperback that came out that was marketed as, if you like Star Trek, you'll love this book, okay? And the critic, John Kurlovich, said, the ever-spreading influence of that, he says, still there remains the fascinating question of why the author of this book didn't latch on to a better model for a novel than Star Trek.